Hey, my future maestros, welcome back to the channel. Today's lesson, we are going to be learning about seventh chords. Specifically, we're going to learn about our dominant seven or our 5/7 chord. And so don't get overwhelmed by it because we're going to explain it. In our earlier videos, when we learned about triads and began learning how to find the third of the chord and the fifth of the chord, the same principle applies here. So you go to your 1, 2, 3, that was our third. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that was our fifth. Now to find the 7, we do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so that would be the 7th for our 1 chord. And that all is in line with what we've been learning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the reason we started learning like that is so we can apply that same principle to each note that we start on. So if I start on my 2 and I do the same thing and I count up 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I have my 7 for my 2 chord. And so if you guys want to experiment with that and find the other ones, you can. But today we're going to focus on our 5 chord. So if we start on 5, we already know our third, we know our fifth. Well, let's walk it up and find our 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's that chord. It's that sound. And so this is a dominant 7 chord, and it feels like it's going to pull to 1. So it feels like this. It feels like it's pulling to resolve. It feels like it just wants to go there. And so that's the way those chords function. See that? But that is our 5 chord. The root is the 5th. Now, another point of review in one of our earlier lessons, we talked about voicings and we talked about inversions. And inversions are where you take the bottom note and you move it to the top. Now in our triads, we only had 2 inversions, but with our 7th chords, because we have 4 notes, after our root position, we end up with 3 other inversions. So this is root position. Bottom note, move to the top. First inversion. Bottom note, move it to the top. Second inversion. Take my bottom note, move it to the top. That's my 3rd inversion. And now when I take my bottom note and move it back to the top, I'm back in root position. So those are my positions for my 7th chord. Now we're going to come back later and work through the 7th chords on each scale degree. So our 3 chord and our 4 chord, our 6 chords and all of those. But for now, it's important that you lock this in and lock these inversions in. Because again, once you find it and once you figure it out, when you see the notes, you need to be able to go right to it. Moving on to our prelude that we've been working on. That's our next chord for today. But we don't play it in root position. We have an inversion of it. Okay, so we have 7, 2. We have that inversion. Now just a review, remember the red notes are the notes that are played in this octave here above that one. The black notes are played in this octave and the green notes are played in this octave here. So 7, 2, 5. That's our shape. See, this repeats. And hear the pull to 1, which we learned in our first lesson. Very good. Now, the reason we are breaking it down like this for you guys who are kind of new to the concept is because we want to be able to use this That's 2. Here's our 7 chord. It's inverted. Now I want to be able to use that voicing somewhere else. I want to be able to, if I'm in this key and I'm playing, see, I want to be able to just go to it. Had to think for a second. So this is why. And each phrase that we learn, we want to actually learn the numbers. Now, we haven't jumped around to different keys yet, but eventually, if you learn the numbers, you'll have that same level of freedom. And that's the goal, is for you to be able to play music and not just be stuck on the sheet of paper. Once you learn it, you're able to apply it and then just play. Now, back to our root position. Back to our home key that we're working in. The same thing that we did before, I want you to do with this. In our other lesson, at the end, we moved the chord around. We created our own sequence. Instead of just playing what Bach played, maybe you rearrange your notes. Ah, that's cool. So that's a good way to get into starting to improvise, because really improvising is knowing what you're playing and having the tools under your fingers that you can just sit down and make music and begin to hear things. So experiment with that this week and create some cool melodies, some additional melodies, and begin to improvise over this prelude. All right. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching. Again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe, like the video, share it with your friends, and keep taking this journey from zero to maestro with us. All right. See you in the next video.